First thing we're going to do is, just kind of take a look at it, just kind of familiarize yourself with it, with everything and where all the screws and everything are. And I got one screw here, one screw here, one screw here. And there's also going to be another screw on the inside or behind this, behind the spool that's going to allow this whole faceplate to come off. So, but to do that, you got to take this off. And this is an older loose speed spool model I got, I don't know, maybe 5 or 6 years ago. I lost a little cover here, but for if you guys still have this cover, you'll see it's on there, and it'll actually look like this. So this is just a little cover that'll be on there. It's just a little Phillips or a flathead screwdriver. Take that little short screw out, and then this little dust cap will pop right off. So, all right, so what I'm gonna do is just take my pliers. Just take that off there. Here we go. And what I like to do when I'm cleaning my reels or disassembling them, I will just line everything in order. Just, kind of laying everything out so that way you know the order that everything needs to get put back in. And that way you don't lose any parts or anything like that. And all I'm doing here is there's just some little grease right here in this part. I'll tell you what, let me tilt this camera up a little bit. It's my little makeshift workstation. I'm actually sitting in my living room doing this, so just clean all that little grease off of there. Get that looking good, grease free. Set that up so you got my little dust cap or a little nut here. The reel handle itself. There's a small washer here. You want to wipe that off. Get all the grease off of it, grease and dirt. Just lay that down flat. And then just unscrew the star drag mechanism. Now this is going to be, this setup is going to be a little different depending on what reel you're doing. But in essence, it's pretty much the same thing. You got a nut, handle, washer, your star drag, and then you got the inner workings here of the handle itself, the handle shaft, we'll call it that. But before we go and mess with any of that, let's take this side plate off. These can be a little difficult. See, so on this one, you have to pull this pin. It's like a spring-loaded pin. You pull it back, and then you twist the faceplate backwards to you. And you set that aside. You can see we got our bearings in there, got our brake system and whatnot. And then at that point, the spool comes out. Okay, so I just set those off on the side. And already we can kind of see, let's set this over there. Already we can kind of see there's a lot of dirt and stuff down in there, old grass and dirt and debris and whatnot. We're going to clean all of that off. So I have an assortment of tools here. I've got a toothbrush. I'm just using this toothbrush just to kind of, get in those hard to reach places. I'm also using a little microfiber towel. You can use that. Kind of run your hand all down in there. Get right here on the reel seat itself. Now for those hard to hard reach places, I just get a little dental pick. This is a pick that I use for cleaning and pulling off O-rings on my paintball guns. So, but get anything that you want to get, a toothpick or a Q-tip. Actually probably switch over and use that now anyway. All right, you can see all the little fuzz and stuff right there. Again, I'm not doing a detailed, like, spotless clean of all of my reels. I have like 10 or so reels to do. I don't have time to do all that. I don't want to sit here and try to get my stuff spotless clean. I'm just getting all the working parts. Anything that may cause a problem, I just want to get those cleaned. So what I'm doing now is behind the line guide eye. There's a lot of dirt, grass, and debris. I'm just kind of picking all that out of there. especially if you're throwing braid. You know, you get some of those, you get some of that braid fuzz just to kind of get caught up in there. So it's a good thing you just kind of scrape that out of there. Then I'll just take my toothbrush, brush all that stuff out of there. And now that part is clean. It's clean enough for me anyway. Now I'm using an Ardent Real Cleaning Kit. Get these from any fishing store. They have a spray in there. It comes with a toothbrush, this double-sided screwdriver here, and it also comes with your real butter oil and your real butter grease. So, and that's really all you need. So next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take off this tensioner adjustment knob. Just dial that all the way back. And you can see what that looks like on the inside, well, barely. All right, so I'm going to set that off to the side. I'm going to set my drag on another level here. Actually, I'll set it up here, keep it in line. So now we got our faceplate off, we got our spool out. In order to take this off, we have to take this star washer, I'll call it that. Take that off, but I'm gonna be careful. Some of these have been really hard to get off. I haven't, I'm ashamed to say it, but I haven't cleaned some of these reels in months. No, I'm sorry, in years. All right, well, that's not coming off. All right, and there's that one. Let's set that down right there. There's a washer here, and this one's kind of convex, looks like. I guess it depends on which way you look at it, but the way it's coming off of this handle screw, I'm setting it down just like that. So I'll know when I put everything back when I assemble everything back, I'll know which side needs to go where. So as you can see, it's a lot of grease around the shaft of this guy here. So we'll just get a microfiber, rotate it backwards so it doesn't spin on you. And you'll see that there was this little ring that came off too. This sits on top of the bearings right here. So I'll take a Q-tip, just kind of run that on the inside, and you see how much dirt was just on that. So set that one right here as well. Okay, so now we go ahead and take these screws off. And what I like to do is I'll just set these off to the side, try to set them in a way, you know, that I'll remember where they go. So that one goes there, this one at the top. And different reels are going to have, you know, a different amount of screws and locations, but you're going to have one here, one here. You may just have one over here on this side, one here. There should have been one here, but I guess maybe I lost that one the last time I cleaned it. And then sometimes, yeah, there, this one has one too. Here's one here. And typically, this little section here would be a little window or cutout that'll be for easy lubrication of the gears, the big gear that's underneath there. So we'll put that one off to the side right there. And from there, everything should just pop off. There it is. So I'm going to set this straight up because I don't want nothing falling off. I don't want to take the chance of losing any pieces. This gear, or I'm sorry, this bearing on the inside of here, I'm not 100% certain what it's called, but I just take a Q-tip, run it in here. Look how dirty that is. Look how greasy that was. Just work that around in there until it gets nice and clean. Flip it over. You can get this underside right here on the face of it. You just want to try to get as much grease and dirt off of it as you can. It's going to make this reel Very, very smooth. So what I'm going to do, oh, also I forgot a spot. If you can see down in here, that's a lot of grease. Look at that. That's just disgusting. But that's why we do this. You want your stuff in tip-top shape. So when you get that 5 and 6 pounder on there, or even bigger for some of you guys out west, you don't have to worry about your reel not performing like it should. All right, so we got all of the grease and nasty stuff out of there. Let's go around in here one more time. Okay. Once you're satisfied with that, now some people are gonna say, you know, oh, this should have grease go in here. I've never put grease in those parts. I've always been taught to just put, you know, a couple of drops of oil in there and just call it a day. You know, you guys can do whatever you feel comfortable with. Like I said, I'm just showing you how I clean my reels. It's been working for me for the last, I don't know, 18 years or so. So I'll keep doing it. Wow, 18 years. I've been fishing for bass for 18 years. That means I'm getting old. All right. So we set that one off to the side. We're done with that one. Actually, while we got this one off, while we got this right side faceplate off, there's a bearing down in here where your spool shaft goes in. Let's go ahead and lubricate the bottom. Put a drop or two of oil down in there on the bottom side of that bearing. And we'll also put a few drops of oil in this part of the bearing too. So that's all cleaned up, greased up, oiled up. Now, here comes the really sticky part. Let's get all this dirt and stuff out of the way. All right. So, some people take everything apart on here. There's a couple pieces that I only take off. Obviously, you got to get everything off the shaft right here. So, take this piece off, this little collar, and usually there may be another washer or ring or something like that either under the bottom side of that. So I'm just going to set that down. I'm going to pull this big gear up. Sometimes you got to use just a little bit of force and they'll come up. And then from there, I'll just reach in there and you can see how much grease is on here. Oh, see, there's that little ring I was just telling you about. So I'll set that next to this little collar. And I can't get that with my fingernail. Use my little trusty pick right here. Get all of these washers and things out. And can't break them apart. It's got some grease on them. Come on. It's thinking about it. There we go. Oh, this was actually stuck to it. I don't think I've ever cleaned this reel. All right, so we'll set that guy down, set that one down. Then you got the big gear. This little piece here at the bottom, it's like a, I don't know, it's some sort of little disc that goes there. And then I'm gonna set this guy. Now this little gear here, you wanna make sure that you wanna note that the direction that these little tips are pointing. Like you don't wanna install it this way. It's not gonna work right. Your reel's gonna have problems and you got to retake everything apart. So I just hold it like this, set it down, and then that gives me complete access to this big gear here. You can tell this one's in some pretty bad shape. So all we'll do is just, where did my collar go? All right, just knock my little collar over. So we'll just wipe this guy off really good. Flip it over and use the bigger side of the microfiber. Try to get down into those teeth really good, as best as you can. We're gonna put some more grease on it anyway, so it doesn't have to be, like I said, 100% perfect. I know some guys will spray it with brake cleaner and, a whole bunch of other stuff and just try to get it spotless clean, looking like brand new brass. That ain't me. All right, so I got that clean. I know this is going to go in between these two, so I'll just set it right here just for the sake of space. My GoPro is taking up a lot of my work area, so I'm going to make sure I'm holding this gear, or this, I don't even know what this is called. It reminds me of Sonic. All right, wipe this one off. Wipe this one off. Wipe this one off. And wipe that little collar off. Oh yeah, I forgot about this little guy. All right, so the next thing I'm going to take off, and the last thing I'm going to take off, is this little piece right here. We'll take these springs off. We'll set those down. We know where springs are going to go. So this is right here. You can see how gunked up that is. That just looks terrible. Let's get our Q-tip. Let's take this out. Just set that off to the side. And just run us a circle around here. Get all this old grease off. I really think that's just nasty. I really think this is the grease that from the factory came on this reel. Like I said, I've never cleaned this reel. Let's put this in our, put that one in our trash can. Let's try to get all that old nasty stuff. Okay. Then for this guy, take your Q-tip, go in the middle right there, that little indentation. Probably at this point, I probably want to switch to my microfiber, so that way I don't leave any of those little Q-tip fibers in there. Like I said, clean it as best as you can. It don't have to be perfect. That's good enough for me. Now at this point, I'll get some of my real grease, and I'll just put just a little bit in here, and I'll rotate that around. Okay. That's what you'll be left with. Just a little bit, because we're going to put more on that plastic piece that we just cleaned off. And that's going to hold a lot more grease, and it's going to allow that little gear right there to stay greased up. So I just put a little bead around the top part of this. And also some in the middle right here. Okay. Stick those two back together. Actually, let's set that down now. Let's get us a Q-tip. And at this point, I'm just going to wipe around here real good. Try to get some of that old nasty stuff out of there. You will go through a lot of Q-tips like this. Try to get any other visible grease that you see. Okay, now it's time for reassembly. Let's grab our little plastic piece with our gear. Make sure that this goes down in the hole. Put your springs back on here. Okay. Now it's the time to assemble the gear, the big gear, the main gear. So find which way that fits onto the shaft. That's it right there. Just start to, like, I don't usually put grease on all this. I know I probably should, but again, this is what I've been doing. So you may do something different. Okay. Our big gear here is going to go on. And you have to watch out for this little piece right here. So you have to pull back on this gear just a little bit to get that thing to seat right. See, still a little bit of a gap right there. There it is. All right. And don't worry about it if there's a little gap in between, like the teeth aren't inside one another. Once you put the spool shaft back in through here, everything's gonna straighten back out. So at this point, we want to go ahead and just start to assemble everything else. So we got this part here. We got this part here. Our little ring. And our collar. Push that down there. Now at this stage, I usually take that real grease, just put just a little bit in the teeth and turn it with my thumb. So you get all the way around. Just a little bit, not too much. Okay. So now we're good with that. So now we want to take our right side faceplate and just assemble everything back together. Make sure you got this pin going in the right hole. And there you have it. Now let's take our screws, put everything back in. This one goes here. Okay. So now we start putting back everything for the drag system. We got that collar that we took off. Got this piece here. And don't forget, note how you take these off, because that matters, especially on this this luge reel here. Excuse me. Sometimes these can be very hard to get back on there. Okay. Then we want to take our star drag. There we go. Get it started. We got this piece here. Then we got our handle. Then we have our retaining nut. There we go. Just use my pliers. Tighten that down. There's a couple times where this has actually come loose. So I want to get that good and tight. All right. Don't worry about it sounding like that. It's just, again, that gear has nothing holding it in place right now. So set that aside. Let's come to our spool. Swipe all the old dirt and grease and oil and everything off of the both ends of it. There's bearing here. I usually just put a few drops of oil right here. 1, 2, 3. One more just for good luck. 4 for the door. Stay there. Okay. I'll usually put a couple drops of oil here. Again, some people probably use grease on this worm gear. I use oil. You can use whatever you want. I'm just telling you how I do it. Smooth that out the way. Put that in there. Work it around a little bit. And from here, just reassemble everything. Get that back in. Okay, set that off to the side. Want to take your Q-tip, kind of go around in here, get any old dirt, especially around this gold collar where the braking system is. Try to get all that off of there. Got some Q-tip fuzz. Then there's a bearing right here. Want to put you a few drops of oil in there And then I like to always put one down in the middle. Okay, and you just reassemble. There it is. Smooth like butter. Now to finish it off, I'll put an extra drop right there, even though we already greased that or put some oil on there. But that's really just to kind of lubricate the inside of the cap. I don't worry about cleaning the cap off. And we just put that everything back together. I'm having a really difficult time threading this stuff on today. Like I said, I've been doing this all day, literally all day. So my fingers are getting a little tired of doing this. Let's loosen that up a little bit. You can see, nice and smooth. And if you want, you get some sort of cleaner or something and wipe the outsides of your reels. I don't do that anymore. I used to, but I just need the main parts to be working. And also, don't forget, put your drop or two of oil right here on this part, on where the grips meet the handle. Work that in. And there you have it. That's how I clean my fishing reels. I usually like to do this once or twice a year. If I'm fishing heavy, I'll do it twice. I usually do it in January and June. If I'm doing it, if I'm not fishing that much or that heavy, I'll just do it in January. But there it is. If y'all have any questions or comments, just put them down below in the comment section. And as always, please like, subscribe, and turn on your notifications. And I appreciate your time, and thanks for watching.